I am Frasier. I was lying about the avatar.
God, that would be terrifying if I just turned around and you were
I'm
balding. You're Kelsey Grammer, yes.
Not even like in Frasier, I'm Beast.
Of course, just straight to Beast.
Straight to Beast.
I forgot that he played Beast.
How do you... Like, that's something I can't forget now that once you told me. It's just like, no, what? No, that's stupid.
No, it's great.
It is
Beast,
great.
Beast is Frasier. That's the
With
same.
fur.
Yeah. I mean, watch the
Beast
cartoon.
is Frasier's persona.
Is that where it
I'm
draws
going to
the line?
ask you very politely to never say the word persona while we're recording ever again. Hey, this is Dan.
Bob?
I'm Eric.
From GigaBoots.com, and welcome to GigaBoots Podcast number 45.
Is it 45?
It's 45.
Shit.
And we even rebooted this shit.
Oh my god. So it's really like 80,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Or 80.
That too.
One of these two numbers.
We've been doing podcasts for a long time.
We have. So we got some cool news to talk about. Lab Zero is doing something awesome with Skullgirls, and for PS4 development in general, that should get everybody excited. We also got some Little Big Planet 3 stuff. We got some news about Unity. Some shit's going on down there. And apparently Amiibo shit. I love how they open their mouth to talk about Amiibo, Nintendo does, and they just like say stuff, but they don't say anything meaningful. But we'll talk about that later. And
That's
also,
at the top of the hour.
Guilty at the top of the hour. Forecasts are fake news. But yeah, Guilty Gear's launch date, and we got some Smash Bros. Stuff. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and we'll get to that later after we talk about what we've been playing for the last week. Bob.
I've been playing games.
No. I was going to say, Bob, ask Eric.
Eric.
What have you been playing for the last week, Eric?
I've been playing Bob.
What?
I want out.
Beep, beep, boop, boop, beep.
So, Bob,
I'm just poking Bob. He's going beep.
bop it. Pass it. Do. Passing a 150-pound, like, toy. A lot harder than a 2-pound toy.
A little bit.
But what have you been playing, Eric?
Oh, we're going with me first. Okay.
Sure.
I've been playing some of the Korra game.
Okay.
I beat it, actually. I went back and beat it, the rest of it today.
Mm-hmm.
And Race the Sun. Both games released on the...
PS4.
yeah. Oh, since last time I forgot, I did beat Guacamelee again and start hard mode on that, which is...
Oh, okay.
Holy. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a bit... It's harder.
So, all three of those are on PS4. So you're enjoying your PS4,
I am
hear.
fully enjoying my PS4.
Have you been
In
playing
every way imaginable.
It's a bit sticky. What, Bob?
The Race the Sun's also on the Vita. You've been
Yeah,
doing it on
yeah, oh yeah.
that,
I've been actually playing that primarily on the Vita. It lends
Alright.
itself more to pick up and play. I don't know. It feels weird to sit down at a big screen and play Race the Sun because it feels so natural on a handheld because it I don't know. It's
It
just,
seems like a pretty good fit.
yeah.
I do want to say we did that quick play of Race of Sun. That will be out before this podcast,
it's
so
already
go
out.
ahead and check it out. Yeah. I do want to say, like, just something about the way that game is. I want to seclude myself with the game with my headphones on, pumping that fucking music through those.
Oh, yeah,
that
it's
headphone
good.
amp I have.
They're
It's so it is. I'm so captivated by what it is doing because it is so synapse firing. Like, it's just, it is frying. There we go. Synapse frying. Like, it's just burning up my brain connections.
God, turn
as
that on
it's
with
just-
your headphones. Jeez.
It's just a fucking, like, the only way it could get worse is if it was Oculus Rift, and that would just...
God.
I was going to say it lends itself either to portable or having an entire wall covered in screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can just imagine we just open the door here one day and you're just slumped over in a chair with your headphones on. Race the Sun is on the TV. We go, Dan, are you okay? We take off your headphones and just dribbling brain matter comes out. Like, oh.
Oh, I see. He went to Taco Bell. The obvious conclusion.
Race the Sun's really fun. It's not super deep, but there's stuff to do and it doesn't feel really time wasty.
Race the Sun is really fun, but Legend of Korra is a real bora.
Legend of Bora, I believe Bob said shortly before I throttled him.
I actually thought it significantly before he said it. I'm like, no, I'm not saying that. That's fucking stupid. But once
Bob was like, it sounds like a job for Bob.
I'll say whatever stupid thing needs to be said.
once I hit the context of like Siskel and Ebert promotions, in case you didn't know, they had little snippets they would run for their show.
Yeah.
At the tail end of other shows, so that way you'd go watch it. And they always had like the most gut-wrenching, like
Awful
fucking
puns.
one-liners and like, oh man, just yeah. And it's like something's captivating as fuck about it. You just like, I feel like the best way to advertise GigaBoots in a way that is completely disingenuous is for you and me to sit in chairs like we're Siskel and Ebert, and for us to say that about video games, and then we pay YouTube money so that way it rolls before other videos.
That, white?
Yeah.
No, we do that.
Because there's that part where it involves money.
yeah, okay.
So about that, we have a Patreon.
So
we'll talk
yeah.
about that later.
So yeah, Race the Sun basically is a whole good. It is a good in the world. Mm-hmm. I can't really think of anything really terribly bad about it at all. Korra, on the other hand, has some problems. I really enjoyed it. I finished it. For what it's worth, I liked it.
Okay.
I
I have a really important question to
Okay.
ask. Do you think we will look more like Siskel and Ebert if we have vests? Like sweater vests? Or like full
Yes.
sweaters? Okay. What were you talking about since then? I'm just kidding. What were you going to say about Korra?
Basically, Korra, I mean, a lot of our criticisms, complaints can be looked at in the quick play, but ultimately all that kind of still stands. It is semi-shallow. It's weird trying to find its audience between people who want a hardcore platinum game and people who want a good Korra game, and
I feel
whether or not it
like
hits that middle ground is debatable.
Legend of Korra is perfectly articulated for the Juggalo community who are anime and pseudo-anime fanatics who love action games.
Okay.
Adrenaline thrills. I can't rhyme with
God damn it! We're not doing the segment now. This is a podcast. We can't see you.
Your sweater can't be heard, Dan.
Clearly, like, you are not doing the segment. Dan is. Dan isn't
Dan
stopping.
is full steam ahead. Full sweater vest ahead.
I totally would be morally okay with me spending like $10 a week just paying to put that in for other YouTube videos. But yeah, no, everything I said there was completely accurate. I do believe there's a community who is enthused about anime, and Korra, which is anime-like,
Let's not get
and
into that.
likes high action sort of stuff. Sure, maybe they aren't super familiar with action games because they sort of fell out of grace, but you know, it's a format that really capitalizes on that action shonen feel
Yeah.
that I feel that Korra sort of goes for.
Yeah, I mean, and again, compared to the previous Avatar games, at least you feel powerful in this game. You feel like you're doing a thing that is cool.
Dude, I could get 1,000 gamer points in 10 minutes. There is no power like that.
So much power.
To be fair, Aang couldn't do that at all. Like, his gamer score is not legit.
But, I mean, like, the progression of the powers felt really good. When I unlocked all the powers and started switching between them for different situations, that, to me, again, as someone who maybe doesn't play as many Platinum games as other people, felt really good to me.
I gotta ask.
Yeah.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say that it ended up with, you know, not a spoiler, the last boss, you sort of regain your whole Avatar powers, and you become the super god that you were destined to become, and they make that feel amazing. I, for one, was like, yes, I paid $15 for this moment, right here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Real quick question, though. You level up the 4 different powers just by using them?
By killing enemies.
Okay.
As you kill enemies,
and
it's hard to
whichever one
notice-
you killed them with goes into that
Yes.
level, which
Right. It's hard-
showed by that bar.
Yeah, it's
I
hard
didn't
to
think
notice
that bar was very subtle. I
When
know
you-
Bob did.
When you kill enemies, there is a small number of, like, plus so
Yeah.
much. So, like, you can tell, yeah, as you kill enemies, it levels up.
I was just making sure it wasn't like it was a usage thing and not so much like
No, you can't just sit there
Something
and spam
weird.
attacks, then you level up. You gotta
okay,
kill dudes.
okay, yeah. Okay, that's basically what I was asking. Have you been playing anything else, or do you have any other comments about Korra? And Bob, so that way we don't have to repeat this when it comes to your side. Do you have any comments about Korra?
I think I said most of them in the quick play, but yeah, I don't know. I still feel like just if you want to fight enemies, that they have the Earth power, which is just way better than everything else. And there's not a strong need to switch for other things. I mean,
Yeah, but
there's
switching
distant
also
enemies.
kind of feels awful.
Yeah, switching
so
feels awful. So
it's
I
not
can
supposed
see-
to be a combo-y thing like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry 4 could pull off.
Yeah, it is a different feel, and I guess
And also, I really don't like the lock on. I forgot that I didn't get into that in the quick
Oh
play.
yeah,
The
what's
L3
your,
locks
what's your
on.
deal, man? L3?
And then you switch locks by using the right analog stick. It'll switch between locked on enemies.
So what does R3 do? Does it do
R3
anything?
does nothing.
Huh.
yeah, I think
That's
that's right.
interesting.
And I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't feel right. I feel that any lock on system where you just don't just hold the button like in say Devil May Cry Bayonetta just feels wrong. Like the
Yeah?
one in Revengeance, that just didn't feel right either. That was
Really?
half baked.
That's why you don't like a toggle.
I don't like a toggle for that, especially
Huh.
when there's so much more move variety that's available by having it, or by not having a toggle and by having you're going to be looking at that enemy. That means we can do backward or hold back and do an attack, and you'll do a different attack.
So you
Yeah.
like the fluidity of being able to lock onto an enemy, breaking that lock on, running around freely, and doing something else.
I think it's
Right.
he's more especially. Tell me whether or
Okay.
not this is correct. Pointing out that like when you have like for example Devil May Cry, because Devil May Cry is the perfect action game in Bob's opinion.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and say for the most part I agree. Devil May Cry 3 was fucking great. But Revengeance was better because it was fucking dubstep and weird metal and screaming about blood on the sand.
Nano machines, son.
Nano machines.
Revengeance had a lock on system that didn't even need to be there. It
Yeah.
literally you don't use that.
You're welcome.
right.
They gave you this thing. You didn't need it. They didn't want to give it to you. But someone out there's like, I wish I had it. So they were like, here you go, idiot.
We'll have it for long range weapons we don't have in the game.
You're welcome, idiot. No. There were rocket launchers you could pick up.
And then you
And
have to
then
go to the
use.
item menu.
I don't know
select and then use.
Why you would use it. But none of that matters because Zundots is better than like anything. And speaking of which, how do you Zundots in Legend of Korra?
Yeah,
I
what-
haven't seen you guys slice
I
anything
don't
in
get
half
it.
and rip out the spine.
I haven't found that either.
Oh, that's maybe it's an
Okay.
extreme mode. I don't.
Okay. Speaking of which, what's the deal with pro bending?
Okay.
That's the awful game at the beginning of the game.
What?
It unlocks after you beat the game on normal.
Oh, is it that thing
That
at the
mode.
very beginning
Yeah.
where you're just American Gladiator almost, where you're all
Yes.
standing
Yeah,
in
you're
a...
trying-
It's really shallow. I feel like that's so much of the game. If the biggest criticism I can make of it is that it could have used a bigger budget and more time in the oven.
Yeah.
And that would have made this game incredible.
And that's why the majority of downloadable cheap titles are 2D.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to get polished mechanics and good art in 3D at that budget level.
But I mean, basing on that, pro bending is basically nothing more than the kind of thing you experience.
It's kind of like the
it's very
Super Mario World or Yoshi's Island thing. Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island thing where you do the verses with the code. Like, it's just sort of
Kinda
like,
that,
this
yeah.
isn't an integral part of the game. This isn't really that
This was a
fleshed
bonus
out.
thing some two dudes on our team fucked off one night and made in a drunk
Yeah.
fury.
Right.
Like, it is.
they
when
kept
I saw
screaming.
that you had to beat that to get one of the costumes, I was kind of upset because I didn't want to play any more of that ever.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's really shallow.
Yeah, it's
And if there's something Bob cares about deeply at a spiritual, holistic levels, it is seeing Korra in more outfits, like water. Oh wait, that was supposed to be Ghost Korra,
It was
wasn't
Spirit Korra.
it's
Spirit
water
Korra.
core.
Man.
Sorry, I thought
It was
water.
mermaid.
It looked like water. I'm just.
Yeah, no.
This is-
But yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I always really enjoy having unlockables, and it's like
yeah.
it's good that it has unlockables. Like most, full budget $60 games don't
Have
have
kinda-
unlockables.
yeah, they've been going
and
away
that's
from that.
Awful.
Well, there's always the alternative of unlockables, like Eric experienced in the Batman game
Oh, and
on
the
the
Batman.
Vita.
Oh my god. No.
No, yeah, you want some
no.
unlockables? I got some unlockables.
Everything
for
does
you.
half damage, and you are just a god. How's that for a fucking unlockable?
Didn't it get down to 10% damage? Is
No.
all they did?
It was one of the optional costumes was reduced damage by 10%, and one of the ones you could just get no matter what was reduced damage by 50, making the other one completely useless.
Right. God.
That's
so that
really
game's
is.
incredible.
That game's that was
and
deleted
in
as soon as I
comparison, this
beat
is a
it.
much better game, I would
This is
think.
I had way more fun with this.
I think what's most interesting here, personally, is that it's a functional, relatively polished game, the type that if it were only slightly better, you could have seen as like a $50 PS2 game.
Right.
This
but
is
it's
by no means
but
a
it's
bad game.
Yeah, I would not call it a bad game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It's just,
Especially for $15.
Yeah, when you
I
look
think
at
at worst it's middle of the road. It's,
yeah,
Right.
when you look at its contemporaries, like at the $15 tier, they're
heck,
really
I enjoy the combat in it more than I enjoy the combat in any like Assassin's Creed, Batman game there is. 'Cause
well,
those
that's
are-
because you have control over it legitimately,
Right.
and those games don't go for that.
you
They
can
go
make
for,
interesting decisions, and you aren't playing Batman Guitar Hero where you just matching the buttons as they come along.
Yeah. So now we've all learned something about how all three of us perceive video games. Eric was talking about it from the perspective of he really liked these things that it did with the awesome making you feel good. Bob complained about how it didn't give enough depth and variety to combat. I asked where were the nanomachines and blood on the sand with metal dubstep.
Why can't I rip out these guys' spines?
Man, it's gonna be really disappointing when I get Bayonetta 2 and there's no blood on the sand.
There's no blood on the sand.
And she might rip out someone's spine.
The
Yeah.
soundtrack won't be beating me over the head with obtuse metaphors that are super, super fucking apparent.
Right?
Like, who knew that blood stood for freedom?
No.
But in any case, yeah, so I'm going to be disappointed when I hit the end of Little Big Planet 3 and there's no dubstep metal.
Man, make that level. Put it in.
I should.
I mean, it has the riding outfit.
Do those carry
Yeah.
over?
Yeah. All the
All that-
outfits apparently
yeah.
carry over, which
Shit,
is good
okay.
for me because I have a lot.
So that means I'm buying the game with my girlfriend, and I'm also getting the Maleficent costume pack because I can't. That's not an optional thing.
Gotcha. Yeah. Actually,
she needs it.
I got a shitload of Disney ones for free with my limited edition or whatever edition I got.
the special edition.
You know, the one that gave me the really shitty derpy Sackboy.
I hear that they're just giving out Sackboys for anyone who pre-orders it now.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
pretty sure.
I may have to pre-order it for my girlfriend.
For my Becky.
Yes,
That sounds like it should be a Scottish slang. For my Becky.
for my Becky.
Get in the Becky.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure if it's a bike or a car at this point.
I'm thinking a pickup truck. But yeah, in any case, anything else you've been playing, sir?
I feel like
Cookie Clicker's not a game.
I actually have been trailing off of that since the update
Okay.
a while back.
Oh, wow.
It was like the Resogun update just ruined everything.
No, I didn't ruin everything. I just, I mean, it's still, the update's still in beta, and it introduced a different, like, prestige system for resetting your cookies. And no, there's a whole weird lore behind all of it. I will explain it, the very interesting backstory if you want, but I can sense from your eyes that is the last thing you want to have
Your
happen
eyes
to you.
that look like you have any will to live. And that you
Okay,
value
you're probably
your
going to hate me for this, but I'm actually a little more interested in that than the Legend of Korra backstory.
I'm done. I quit GigaBoots.
but like,
Just because that's so insane.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, no, it is insane.
I mean, well, here's the thing. One of these up front has like sorcerer grandmas that make cookies or something.
elder grandmas that are elder gods that you have to appease with cookies, and they get that way by making bingo research factories.
Okay, so
Okay.
Korra can't fucking step to that.
That is pretty incredible.
And that is why, I kind of side with Bob. But I wasn't going to say it. But in any case, hey,
They
let's
make
talk
your-
about things other than Korra. And
They make your golden extra cookies turn into elder evil cookies, and occasionally you get elder fury, which gives you times 666 bonus to your cookie production multiplier for a certain amount. It's great, okay? It's good stuff.
Bob, what have you been playing?
well, other than the Korra game, I
Korra game? Let's talk about that. We
even
haven't-
more.
The car game.
But yeah, I've also been playing Senran Kagura. What's this? Shinobi
Shinobi versus-
versus.
Shinobi versus.
What edition is it?
Let's get physical edition.
Yeah, so that doesn't affect the game at all. So that's just having the physical copy and all the extra stuff. Apparently, that cup has a crack. in it.
Man,
I'm so glad that I grabbed a cup from your cupboard, Bob.
I didn't.
This shirt and pants is much better with your one.
it's so delicious.
As always.
Right all over his front. Okay, what about Senran Kagura? It's
yeah.
a classic game, is what I've heard.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, this game is it's not very classy at all.
This game is smut.
What is the game?
It is a hack and slash action game on the PlayStation Vita portable console entertainment system. It plays
Ask your parents to set it up.
but then ask them to leave when you start playing the game.
Now get out of here. Put a sock on that door.
But yeah, it's a action game where we play as high school ninja girls.
With how much plot?
Which very
do
much
those girls
plot.
have? Okay. Big wibbly plot.
Yes.
Top level danger plot.
Yes. Plot that defies gravity and physics.
Okay, so yeah, they're high school girls that are fucking ninjas and their clothes explode off when they fight. And now, what's the larger construct for playing this game? Is it a story mode you're playing from the perspective of one of them or all of them?
Why are they
actually
exploding clothes?
Yeah, or when you first put it up, it gives you the option of 3 different schools. Each set of girls is from a different one of them.
Okay.
And you play through that school, and you'll switch between the girls each chapter in it.
Okay.
Or each individual girl has her own story to play through as well.
Okay, being completely sincere here because, I do want to know more about this game.
Okay.
Each character has a backstory that's relatively developed, or are
Yeah.
they just sort of like super stereotypes?
The first set of them, I think they did a pretty good job, with the original heroes and villains from the first game.
The first game was on the 3DS.
Right,
We were
so
talking about that last year, I think.
Yeah, Senran Kagura Burst. And
Yeah.
that had 2 schools. And those characters I felt were pretty well developed. There's some super cliche ones.
Just stop describing these girls as well developed, okay? I can't
fuck
stop
you.
giggling.
Fuck you and the people on the other side of the internet who are also giggling. We can hear you.
But yeah, it's
You were talking
Yes.
about how developed they are or
right.
aren't.
Yes. So the first 2 sets of schools, I think they did a pretty good job. Most of them are some stereotype, at the high level of this is clearly the anime stereotype.
Yeah.
But then they try and or fully flesh them out. And,
They have actual
and
characterizations.
have some characterization behind that. Some of the new characters are just awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, say almost all the characters from one of the schools is just complete super stereotypes of the worst anime stereotypes I can think of. There's the sadistic one, the masochistic one, and
The
then
sadomasochistic one, and wow.
yeah.
We had to take a quick break there because something happened. But Bob, you were talking about the bad characterization of the new characters, or at least how especially good it was in the first one.
Right. I'd say it was pretty good in the first game, and then we get to see more of what happens with the characters from the first game, but it feels like they're retreading old ground with that even. I'm pretty sure at the end of the first game, the girls learned their ultimate ninja technique so that they could overcome something.
Well, they tripped on the way back in at the beginning of the new year, and it just...
Adam
Right,
Malkovich says, "Hey, I didn't authorize that."
So now they do that again, and it's that's really bad writing.
One moment. Hi, Eric.
Hey, Dan.
I'm going to ask you a question, and I need you to answer.
Okay.
Is that how they justify Samus not having her powers?
Did you not play Other M?
I played enough to... answer the question.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah, Other M had the worst justification in series history.
The worst part of that game, the
that-
reason why everyone shits on it so bad for the plot is the reason Samus can't use her powers is because her CO, who appoints himself as her CO for the mission, says no. She runs through an area filled with lava, and it is only after she gets past it that he goes, "Okay, use your various suit. I authorize it."
I'm never playing that game.
Yeah, that is just awful.
If you skip every cutscene, the game is pretty fun. By itself, it is a fun game. The context within that it's playing within is kind of shit.
What in God's green earth were we talking about before I discovered this horrible news?
Senran Kagura.
So they lose their ultimate techniques and learn it again, and that's a
Yeah.
part of their emotional arc in their stories and things?
Right,
Okay.
and that's kind of lame.
So it's like anime does occasionally, where they learn a lesson by the end of the first season, but then they got greenlit for a second. So then weirdly they're fighting again, and they need to learn that lesson somewhat.
Right,
But then they just don't because they're not going to fully cop out. They're just going to be like, and then that one decides she's an independent black woman who don't need no man and goes off. She doesn't know she's not black, so don't tell her. But yeah, okay, so
that's a little frustrating.
moment to moment, how is the game played? Like, is it just all these fights with nothing but text in between and cutscenes? Are you working through a story, or is there a hub?
There's actually a hub. Each school has its own like schoolroom that they hang out in.
Oh, okay.
So you can go talk to the other girls between missions, and they'll say something different each chapter.
Okay.
And then
change outfits
there in the shop.
Yeah, I mean, given how many clothes they go through.
Oh my God, this
yeah,
this is the kind of game that has a lingerie lottery.
The kind of game. I think it invented the kind of game.
It did.
I don't know that existed before.
Yeah.
Fun fact, real quick. One of the engineers over at Q Games, low-level programmer, optimizer, and type engineer. On his resume, he has some game that's supposed to be a sexy golf game.
What?
And he wrote the Boo physics engine for it. And now that we continue past describing Jamie Kessler's past, we'll continue to talk about this other thing.
So what goes into a lingerie lottery?
Let's talk about that. Would it?
So you go to the shop.
Okay.
And then the shop gives
the shops that is in the classroom.
It's the door that takes them to a shop.
Okay,
like
sure.
it's leaving the classroom.
Kind of like in high school when they had the table set up and it was like, oh, go buy your pencils or whatever, middle school or elementary school. Yeah, they had the school shop so you could buy shit you forgot, but in this case, it's the lingerie.
Right.
Maybe they forgot their lingerie.
Oh yeah, good point.
Very good point.
Yep.
It's necessary.
Do they have Nendroids of any of these characters?
I think so.
Okay, that must be weird.
It's just that Dead Island thing. It's just boop.
Holy fuck, that would be terrible. You know.
Anyway, so
one last note on Nendroids. I really want a Noel Vermillion original haircut Nendroid. Okay. That's got to be a thing.
Yeah, I think they did one. I'm
just because
sure.
they had the chibi her learning from.
Oh yeah. They had they did chibis of everyone in Blaze Blue.
Yeah.
That's great.
And they looked great like that. Whereas the Senra and Kagura characters as chibis to me just seems like, isn't that like defeating the point of these of this game? Like you've reduced the shapeliness.
Which brings us around back to the lingerie lottery. So you go to the shop.
There's a regular shop in there where you can go buy.
So this is a separate.
This is a separate part of the shop. You can actually use real money for this part of the shop.
Of course.
Which is crazy.
Real money.
Dollars. Even though
that you stick into the internet and it takes from you.
Yes.
In real life.
But in return, lingerie.
Are there any gameplay benefits to this, or is this just like
this is no gameplay benefits from this at all?
This is perv mode.
Yes.
Okay, but you can use in-game currency.
You can use in-game currency too.
Is it like those things they do a lot of the time where you can use in-game currency, but it's just infinitely easier to use real money?
I don't know.
It takes $1 billion in-game dollars.
I haven't really used this thing much.
Okay, so you don't.
I've just shown like 100 zenny is almost nothing in that game. Okay. I've done that a couple times, and it gives me one every time.
Okay.
So it's not like, you want these because this is the way you actually get stuff here.
Okay.
They're not trying to really incentivize you to give them money.
It's not like it takes 10 zenny and an hour of playing gets you 4.
Right.
Which was really all I wanted to figure out. Like, it was just super, super duper for people with money. No. But okay, cool. Very neat. I know I'm really drilling down into specific areas of this. I've never played this game.
Okay. Right.
All I've seen of this game was like some footage years ago, probably a year and a half, from a Vita capture device. Because it was situated in Japan and they had to capture a game. Why not this game? So, in any case, is the lingerie like for an individual?
No,
like
it's
if you
for
go there
any
with
of
that character. Okay, so it's random.
Yeah, all the costumes and underwear and everything is for every character.
Did you just say underwear?
Whatever, lingerie, underwear.
Oh, okay,
same
like
difference.
because like
they're sharing underwear. I think is what he's.
I'm just curious.
What?
Like if you go to the Pantsu shop in this, and there's a whole chapter about it, I'm done. I didn't take that shit from the Chobits anime. I'm not gonna take that shit from a video game.
It's so weird. The game it almost ignores that whole part of it when the story starts. Like their clothing explodes off and stuff, and then they're just talking like as if nothing had happened.
So they go into cutscenes with the exploded clothing, like nothing's wrong. What are you looking at?
Just another day.
Just another day here at ninja school.
Hey Tom, how's it going, Ned? I feel like there's a lot of stuff in Japanese culture where that is the case, where they engineer a lot of aspects of it to be super appealing or exploitative in a way that will get people to buy it. And once they bought in, they're like, no, we're going to make a good thing.
Where
Now that you're
is the
here.
opposite kind of here. Or
Kind of,
we put tits
yeah.
and stuff, and it's really we're about that. It ends up no, really, it's shallow. Sorry.
Sorry, you don't care. I thought you were going to say we try to make everything look the same, and then we try to
But yeah, I was
do
gonna
something
say, like,
different with
even
it.
like that Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. I hear it's like the best beach volleyball game there is.
I've heard that opinion expressed too. What was it? So Eric's brother, because this happened last week, Eric's brother came back in town. This is a younger brother.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we're playing Smash with him, and then we start playing Soul Calibur 5 because he sees this cool poster we put up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, do you play Dead or Alive? And he's like, I don't even know what that is. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I describe it vaguely, and he goes, oh, the volleyball game.
Yeah.
And I had never thought about, like, somebody only knows that series for that. Like,
Right, I'm
Dead or
sure
Alive
that
4 and
that's
5 are the abnormality. Extreme Beach Volleyball 2 is the normal.
It's its true form.
Yes. It is its final form.
Yes, it is
It just keeps, like, people keep pulling androids out of it, and it keeps reverting to these lower forms of itself. But I thought that was pretty amusing. So we went back and
So
played.
how hard did they have to punch Dead or Alive 5 to get the?
I'm not going to say how hard they punched, but you can assume what sort of physics came into play after they punched. But yeah, so we played some Soul Calibur 5.
Yeah, we did.
That
Not
was
much.
I feel like going back and playing that again because Bob bought it at launch and we played the shit out of it for like a week. Like we did it 2 days during that first week,
Right.
and then never again.
Yeah.
And
feel like-
going back to play it, we're not that type of people. There are plenty of gamers out there who just do that. They buy a game, they play it, it's neat, and then you just don't go back.
It falls off, yeah.
Yeah, like really quickly. Like there are plenty of people like that. We're generally not.
I mean, I'm doing that with Talezilia 2 right now, and I feel terrible about it because I really want to play
Yeah,
more
but
of that.
like you've already dumped over 10 hours.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that was quite.
Poor Mega Man ZX Advent didn't even
Shut
get
the
that
fuck
chance.
up.
It hasn't started its chance yet.
You didn't give it a chance. I'm willing to give it that chance, Bob.
I'm gonna
I'm
give you
willing
a
to
chance
play it for
to
an
shut
hour
the fuck
and then
up.
forget about it.
God damn it. In any case, so
But, yeah, Soul Calibur
we
5.
we go back to it, and just as I thought before, like it feels just like 3, but with supers, and it's just really weird because you don't get all the classic characters that are in 3.
Right.
So like there are pluses and minuses to this game over every prior installment. It's just it's strange. Like Tekken 6 feels better than every Tekken before. Like it's just better. It has Captain Lars pants. It has all these characters. It's just better in every way. And then Bob bought Tag, and he's like, "We can play this too, Dan." And he was wrong because that involves me playing it. But
The only thing wrong was Tekken Tag after just turn it to one-on-one mode,
Yeah.
so it plays almost just like 6. Is that then it has load screens, or extra load screens, because you can't immediately rematch,
yes,
and that was
that's what killed it for us.
yeah, that's what broke that.
Then it also wasn't quite as pretty as 6. Because, it's designed for
it's
two
designed
people.
for 2 people.
Yeah.
I just liked having all those extra characters, even if a lot of them were kind of just reskins. It was just nifty to see what they did with it.
Yeah, they brought back really, really old shit.
Yeah, and really obscure things like
Yeah.
freaking
Like
Xiaoyu's schoolmate,
Yeah, it was some shit. They, like, kept digging.
right?
They're like, we're going to get that corpse.
Oh, that
gotta
butler, you know him? No, I
yeah.
don't.
No,
What?
no, you totally do. You totally do. Jin's mom, you missed her, right?
Well, you brought her back already as his cousin, so no.
Back on the topic of Soul Calibur 5.
Yeah, sure.
Played it again. I forgot kind of how much I liked that. Like
Yeah.
Soul Calibur. Like
Soul Calibur's great.
I played the shit out of
It
2.
is a great pick up and play action fighting
Yeah,
game.
and I played a little bit of 3 too. I mean, I'm generally shit at games and especially fighting games, but I just felt really fun to play again.
Yeah, it's like the best weapons fighter.
I was about to say it's the only weapons fighter, but I feel like there's something else.
Sir, you will be forced to play for the weekly beating for the next 2 months if you say that statement, and I will prove you miserably incorrect.
Oh, I mean, of modern times.
Masters of Terrascasis. The Star Wars fighting.
Teräs Käsi.
I played that demo. That's
No, it's great because like you play as what was it, the Pigman, and you could hit L1 circle and down, and he would be like "Rah, rah," and just get huge. That's his whole thing.
I didn't remember.
I totally forgot about that until not just now.
Wow.
Like, just now, it like something connected of how like Teräs Käsi is dumb, and not the other times I've heard that in the last week, which I've heard it a lot in the last week. For some reason, Teräs Käsi is very popular, and I didn't even bring it up. So you can't even say it's like me hearing it elsewhere. It's bringing it up. Just there's this vibe in the universe that says talk about how bad Teräs Käsi is, and everyone's doing it. Just when you said it that time, it clicked. Oh yeah, that Pigman. What was his weapon? Getting huge. Huh.
his weapon was Big Man Japan.
Yes. Weird. Fucking weird. That game, fucking weird. But it had Arden Lin, and she had a robot arm.
She did.
That was pretty cool. That's what I liked about Star Wars Extended Universe. It got a lot more interesting than normal Star Wars
They did
universe
do a lot
in the
of like
prequels.
cool things, like freaking that guy who is in Dark Forces 2, and he had
The one you won't shut up about?
no, it was a different
Okay.
guy.
Okay, different guy. Okay.
No, but yes, but no.
The game I won't shut up about. I'll didn't Kyle Katarn, but yeah, there's this guy who got cut in half at the beginning of the game, and then he comes back on this little hover pad, and he's just a torso, but he's a Jedi.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Extended Universe is really interesting. Unfortunately, then the prequel trilogy happened, and that made the whole brand toxic. So, like, you couldn't get cool things attached to it. The Force Unleashed was the last hurrah, and nope. Big pile of nope. So let's not talk about that. Let's talk about what other games you played. Or unless you want to...
I guess we didn't really talk about how the game played. I mean, we went into... Okay,
I don't know. You could mechanically break it down, but you already kind of... No. You already said it's a hack and slash action game.
Oh,
right,
I heard
third person.
for some reason. Okay.
Third person.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
first person. We're going back to Breakdown.
It's a second person action game.
We should Let's Play Breakdown.
Breakdown was pretty
Do you
weird.
still own it?
I don't think I still own it.
We should
get it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that most of the internet knows what Breakdown is.
I don't know what Breakdown is.
Okay, so imagine Japan looks at all these queer first-person shooters for the PS2 generation, right? And they go, man, this fucking sucks. And you know why? Because you're not ripped as shit, radioactive, and beating the crap out of everything. So it's a first-person shooter where you can, like, almost like Vin Diesel buffness, smash a dude in the head with your arm.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Eric's face is very confused.
And also your hands, like, there's veins that are energy.
Yeah.
And it's like busting out of your skin.
Because you're that fucking swole, your radioactive levels of swole.
What?
Yeah.
And there's something about going through time. I don't know.
Fun fact, every time we use the name Derek, it is actually a reference to that.
Yes.
So in that video where it said Dracula was especially naked on that night, Derek knew because that's why. Because Breakdown is incredible.
We coined the term Derek Board.
Derek Board because
Breakdown's one of the first games that did it come before Half-Life 2?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Good.
Wait. Oh shit, it's gonna be really close.
Because it directly uses some Half-Life 2 sort of storytelling where, he's gonna walk in this room and there's gonna be a cutscene that plays out that he's not directly involved in, so he can just look around. So there's a lot of me just like, oh my god, just punching walls and stuff while they're trying to...
Shut up.
So Derek was very bored.
I see.
Super fucking bored. I feel like Half-Life 1 kind of did that, but it didn't do it at the same level.
Right.
So maybe they just saw Half-Life 1 and they went off of that because it should have come out really close to 2. But real quick, was there anything, did you want to delve further into it mechanically other than that?
Not really.
descriptor?
I just wanted to say, hey, you then go into stages where you don't just fight one other enemy, it's about fighting masses of enemies, and then there's usually a boss fight with one of the other
Ninja
schoolgirls. But yeah. And I think that there's a third school that unlocks after you beat the other 3, or maybe just beat one of them. I don't know. I don't know when that one unlocks, but it's actually the villains from the first game you get to play through which is kind of cool because they they're like I said before, they were somewhat decent characters, unlike a lot of the new ones we got.
So they basically came out at the same time, Half-Life 2 and Breakdown.
Okay.
In fact, Breakdown might have beat it to the market slightly, depending on which country we're talking about. I'm going to go ahead and show Eric this fist on the cover.
Well, it's, there's so much to see.
Yeah, it's got a lot going on.
Well, those are the guys he has to punch.
Yep.
They're reflected in his rage fist.
That's a good game.
That is one of the reasons I bought an Xbox original.
Can
Yeah.
you put that up on the video?
Yeah, go ahead.
Show people.
Yeah.
People need to know.
They need to know
see what I've seen.
Derek board. But yeah, we should probably do a Let's Play of that at some point. Just because there's something really amusing about a first-person shooter made by Japan where you beat shit up.
Right.
Because you got to think like a year later, maybe two, Dirge of Cerberus came out. And man, that is a way worse shooter made by Japan.
It is most definitely. I was thinking earlier today, like, man, Platinum is actually getting out and making these other games for people like Korra
Konami
and Konami.
Yeah.
Square Enix should really pay them to freaking finish Final Fantasy VII story arc they started.
I mean, with the CG cutscenes and the whole movie Advent Children, it sort of justifies the type of action that only Platinum can deliver.
Right. And they could totally do that. That would be really fitting. Just be like, okay, you play as Cloud or Tifa, and you beat things up.
I mean, really, you could just get them to make the bouncer.
Yeah.
They could do a really... I mean, if you played Anarchy Reigns or Max Anarchy, which is it called over
It's
here?
Anarchy Reigns here.
Okay. That was basically like a good version of the bouncer. Like, it doesn't have the stupid pressure sensitivity. It's a good hand-to-hand combat sort of thing.
It's still pretty simplistic.
It's very stylized.
Yeah.
And it's got a black dude with a grill that spells "fuck you."
What was that guy? Every video you have to bring up the bouncer.
And also Anarchy Reigns.
As I told
When
him,
it stops being relevant, I'll stop talking about it.
yeah, just fucking goddamn. They both sit in that same bucket of Taco Bell hot sauce. But yeah, yeah, I feel like Platinum working for Square Enix could only bring good things.
Right. Like, I mean, Square Enix has shown that they aren't great at making action games. And recently aren't great at making games.
I mean, they can make a turn-based RPG like nobody's business. The problem is they don't want to.
Right. They want to put that on the 3DS only. And not call it Final Fantasy, because it's not Final Fantasy. We're better than that.
Sweetie, darling, let me talk to you about you. You're a piece of shit. Do you see this thing? Like, okay, let's be honest here, guys. Dan, when it comes to video games, only cares about the mechanics. I'm a very mechanics guy. I like the tech, I like the mechanics. I could give less a fuck about the story or the other things, like artistic style and stuff. If you give me a good, fun game to play, I don't give a fuck. But let's be real here. The shit you're calling Final Fantasy 15 is fucking retarded. That looks like a whole year of anime fucking vomited and made out with itself. You're fucking like, oh, this is fucking it's Bravely Default. This isn't Final Fantasy. This is Final. What the fuck is wrong with you? What Fujoshi son of a bitch is running Square Enix and saying these pretty boys, fucking high schoolers, rip this shit in leather coats? This is Final Fantasy.
Go on a road trip, a magical road trip.
I feel like 1% of the Final Fantasy fan fiction writers would share that vision with you. The other 99 are above that. That is how fucking low grade and crazy your idea of what is and isn't Final Fantasy is. I mean, look at 14. 14's Final Fantasy.
That's pretty Final Fantasy.
Look at it, and it is Final Fantasy. 15, I just told you what 15 is. I don't need to repeat that. But, yeah, so this idea, they're so fucking crazy. I just wish Platinum would get out there and fix everyone's IPs. I mean, they fixed Metal Gear Solid 4 pretty good.
Right?
Snake. Ah, yes, Snake. Moving on.
Good.
There was a line of dialogue like that in the game. It was pretty good.
Right. They make you wait like almost all the way through the game, and then they give you that.
Yep. They're just like, remember Snake? Yeah, yep. Snake, he's the dude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They both just like try to say as many things in tones that make it like dissonant. So that way he's like, are you remembering him or is he still around?
I don't.
Right.
Is he?
And it's beautiful.
We can't say that he's dead or that he's not dead.
Or Kojima will hire someone to kill us.
But don't worry, he'll probably take lots of cigarette breaks.
So it'll be fine.
It'd
What
be
else have you been playing,
disappointing.
Bob?
Yeah, what else?
I don't know if I have been playing anything else. I haven't had that much time. I mean, there's some Smash Bros.
Yeah, we
but-
talked about Smash Bros. We talked about Soul Calibur 5. We played some Sonic for Sonic Month, which is
Did.
going to be starting up pretty soon.
Oh boy. So excited.
See, he sounds so unhappy right now, but he just got done playing the good ones.
I didn't. Okay, let's be fair. I didn't really play a whole lot. That
Yeah.
was Tails.
Yeah, and you play it on a busted controller. I
Yeah.
feel like he got kind of gypped.
What?
I don't know.
Because Sonic 2 and
Playing
3 are
as
really
Tails
good.
is always getting gypped. You never.
Fuck no! I love being Tails. Tails is a better character. You know why?
He's immortal.
No, well, okay, yeah, but as a character.
Because robots.
One, there's nothing fucking outstanding about a hedgehog wearing shoes. But a fox,
I would disagree.
But a fox,
Wearing
I can
shoes.
make some tiny shoes for a fucking hedgehog, and we will solve this. But in any case, on the Tails, like he's got fucking. Okay, first off, he's adorable. He's okay with that. Next to Sonic, do you know what that says about his self-esteem? He's okay being the cute younger brother. He doesn't need to act like a shithead. Like, all these pieces of fiction, like movies, books, everything, where there's the younger brother with the older brother. How many times does the younger brother try to act cool like the older brother? Just be like, oh yeah, I'm cool too. Let me try to smoke. Oh God, cigarettes. Like, that is a thing. Like, if you
Okay.
go back and watch older movies, that is more especially a tone they talk about. Like, that idea of Tails is Tails. Tails is nerdy. He's into fucking constructing shit. He's cute. He's adorable. He doesn't fucking care. Sonic's cool next to him, and Sonic tolerates him. And they got this weird friendship thing. But, like, Tails and Knuckles and Sonic all work as characters. It's when you get past that, and you get the Shadow and everyone else, that it's just like, fuck all of you. Fuck you.
Amy?
See, I just, like, okay. Now, we're going to talk about Amy in a contemporary view. Okay? Amy's just a
Amy's a
love
stalker.
interest. She's just, no, so like in that one, she's like some weird love interest thing, and it's actually kind of mutual. Like Sonic saves her and is cool with her, and she's just sort of enfeebled.
Every
And that's
time
the
I
thing.
see or think of Amy and remember things that she was in,
Mm-hmm.
either cutscenes or whatever, she is chasing after Sonic
But you're
with
talking-
a hammer.
But you're talking post Sonic Adventure.
I guess I am.
Yeah. So if we're talking about back in Sonic CD when she's introduced, that is all she is at that point. Past that was when it got fucking weird.
Okay.
But I would like to state, to the best of my recollection, which by the end of Sonic Month will no longer be a recollection, it will be the here and now. The Saturday morning Sonic cartoon had better characters than any of them that they fucking invented in the fucking actual franchise past CD. Because, like, yeah, no, they have any level of personality.
Are we going
whereas
to be watching the... Shit!
we're borrowing a lot for Sonic Month.
I can tell!
So in any case, let's talk about things that aren't Sonic.
What have you been playing?
I haven't been playing enough Smash. I've been so busy with my RetroWare stuff and getting the Patreon video done and getting Another World review done. Sorry, Abe's Odyssey review done, and trying to arrange the props and things I need for that I have had no time for Smash. In fact, Jay from Hail Zeon is like, hey, you wanna... What are you doing later? I'm like, I'm working on a fucking 50 billion goddamn things. I don't have time to hang out, but if you want to do Sonic Month shit, you can come over for that. He's like, oh, I wanted to play Smash, but yeah, okay, I'm cool with Sonic. 'Cause, yeah, busy. I'm fucking busy. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I played a bit of Race of the Sun.
Yeah.
I wish I played more. I look forward to it.
Yeah. Yes.
There are 2 games we received that I'm still trying to play far enough in for us to do a quick play. One's called From the Depths, and the other one's called Fight the Dragon.
One
Which
vague,
one's
one very
whi-
literal.
Which one's which, I will not remember, so I will say nothing about either.
Okay.
All right. That's safe.
Yeah. But I played a good bit of one of them.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about it because I don't know which one it is. So,
Were you fighting a dragon in it?
No, but that doesn't mean anything because I might later.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think a game called Fight the Dragon is Punch-Out, but your enemies are all dragons, so...
Oh my
Why
god.
not?
Why will we make that game?
I don't know, because, like...
You know, it's called Fight This Dragon.
I believe that would really upset that developer.
And after you fight this dragon, then you fight that dragon.
No, that's DLC.
The sequel is Fight Those Dragons.
Fight cancer dragons. So yeah, have I played anything else? There are those games we did the quick plays of.
Yeah.
So you guys can check out the quick plays and see what I've been playing. Now we're gonna head into news, but real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and note we opened up our Patreon page. You can check out the video, which is in the link, and decide whether or not you want to help fund GigaBoots, because it's kind of crucial that you do. Because eventually, like, the reality of the world is, like, this isn't me taking the YouTube channel hostage, were that a thing, which I find that idea extremely entitled, but is self-entitled.
Yeah.
How dare you threaten it? No, this is literally the amount of content at the rate we've been doing it is a full-time job. If you do not cover, this isn't like, I there's no way to phrase this as a not ultimatum, because it basically is. But that isn't even by my design. That's life.
The only reason we opened up the Patreon because it was kind of a last resort for funding.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. We do videos that get decent views, but so many people use ad block nowadays that the amount of money we get out of that's reduced. Mm-hmm. And there are several other things about the nature of this channel that actually reduce the amount of money we get. For example, if all of our quick plays were 10 minutes instead of the 30 or more, we would make more money. Yeah.
Because people don't want to watch longer videos.
Yeah, and that means because they watched longer relative to the size of the video, that means they're paying more attention, which affects how much money we're paid.
Wow.
Yes. So we actually do a lot of stuff that makes our videos not as marketable, but more informational. Like, you know, we could be turning out 8-minute long reviews of things instead of doing quick plays, but a lot of the time I feel like quick plays are a lot more informational on this stuff. I mean, you would agree, Bob, that you would rather see a quick play format thing than an 8-minute review where, like, if I tried to condense my opinion and objective fact about Hyrule Warriors into 8 minutes video, that's probably a lot less informational than a 30-40 minute quick play.
Right.
So yeah, there's a ton of shit we do that's just not as profitable and doesn't work out for us in a marketing sense. But we like doing it, and I see value in it, and clearly you people like it. So if you want to see GigaBoots keep doing this, head on over to Patreon, check out the rewards and tiers and things we have. And if you don't, then that'll just work itself out, and GigaBoots will have to
Cut back on content, basically.
Yeah, we'll have to throttle the content for a good bit, mostly because, like, me solving the problem elsewhere will probably make it harshly dive at first and then eventually maybe recover.
This is probably the most negative version of life finds a way to fuck things up.
Yup. But yeah, stick around for the news, because it's news, and that's important, right?
Yeah, I want to believe it is.
I feel like we have good news today. Another podcast they did just the news leading up to yesterday, and it wasn't as good. Good bit of this awesome stuff came out today.
Sweet.
I'm liking it. But there's that Nintendo Direct for Smash tomorrow.
Right.
Oh, there is? It's tomorrow?
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
What time tomorrow?
Oh no. Actually, I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Well, shit, we're gonna take a break and find out. So apparently that's going to be at 5 p.m. our time, because we're central.
Yep.
So from what I hear, you two guys, you're going to be at work.
Yep.
That sucks.
That
You'll
happens.
be on YouTube by the time you guys get out,
Right.
which is always nice. So let's talk about the news. Now, this first piece of news I find fucking awesome. I'm really, like, the world's a better place.
Yeah.
So Lab Zero Games, the people who make Skullgirls, has made a custom USB driver for the PS4 version of Skullgirls Encore, so that way players can use their PS3 arcade sticks. See, because you may not know this, the PS3, the way it was cracked open was via a USB device that kept lying about how many devices were hooked up to it. It was an infinitely recursive hub, basically, is what it kept lying about. And that slowed the PS3 down just long enough for them to hack it. So Sony, gets really strict on that with PS4. And as such, a lot of racing wheels, a lot of arcade sticks. In fact, all arcade sticks wouldn't work with the PS4. So some time ago, they set out to solve this problem and get a developer. And they have finally delivered that. They already have it up and running with the arcade stick on their dev kit for the PS4 version. And not only is that done, but just like they said at the beginning of this endeavor, they're going to let other developers use their driver for free because, and I quote, "We think it's better for the consumer and the industry that you be able to spend your hard-earned money buying games instead of buying a new fight stick." These guys are fucking angels. They're fucking priests.
I hear that they got like some Naughty Dog developer to help them.
Oh wow,
make this.
I didn't know who they got for this driver because they were out searching last time I checked up on this.
Yeah,
Wow,
and
that
he
is
apparently
great.
did it in his free time.
Yeah, he did. He's at Naughty Dog. Are you fucking kidding me? He did it on his lunch break while eating. But that's great. That is so good. It just, like, imagine a better world in which Drive Club's developers did this sort of thing. Like,
Yeah.
Lab Zero is tiny.
Right.
Lab Zero is, what, 10 people?
I don't know, man.
It's
It's
tiny.
ridiculous.
And they are so strapped for cash at all times. The fact that they were able to accomplish this with the help of, obviously, that programmer or whatever from Naughty Dog is fucking incredible. Like, the world is a better fucking place.
I hear that it's not all sticks. Like, that is not the case yet. They're trying to work on
Hashtag
compatibility.
not all sticks.
Help.
But yeah, they're doing public testing. They were
Right.
talking about to make sure they can get the compatibility as high as possible. But there are obviously going to be USB based fight sticks that just do weird shit.
Right.
That's going to make it wholly impossible. But from what they're saying, the largest manufacturer of fight sticks that are popularized now, the Mad Catz ones,
Right.
are going to be compatible. Like Mad Catz does all of their sticks in a certain way, and that is just going to click with it. So that's great. That is, like, dude, we do the weekly beating. Of course this is home for me. Like, I'm not an arcade stick guy, but holy shit, those people need their sticks. Those things are fucking expensive.
And I believe that freaking Xbox One, like, some sticks still work. I remember someone bring a fight stick to some event where they were showing off Killer Instinct.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And it worked on it. Like, I don't know if that's something that was that was
might-
just a dev kit thing and it just worked because it was such an an older build.
Or
but-
maybe there's a Mad Catz arcade stick for the Xbox One.
No, this was before the Xbox One was out.
They still could have had a product there. I mean, this is Evo and
No,
Killer
it was
Instinct.
literally
was a thing.
some dude. Just
a random dude?
brought his fight stick.
Well, the reason why that situation would be different is because Sony was so lax on PS3, they just let USB shit work.
Right.
Microsoft had a special chip,
Oh yeah.
and that's how they cut
Right.
in on the price of accessories and stuff. Yep.
course.
So Sony,
And they wouldn't let anyone make a wireless anything.
yes. And now, like, because of the trackpad, Sony accidentally did that with the PS4 controller, which is why you don't see generic versions of that.
Wow.
Trackpad compatibility is apparently really fucking hard to get in. But in any case, let's move on to the next piece of news. So we have a link. It's down in the description. Go check it out. There is a comparison video made by Epic LBP on YouTube. And it's a comparison video of the PS3 and PS4 versions of the Little Big Planet. And, like, you know, this Little Big Planet, but who gives a fuck? Like, graphics, just, but, like, it looks really nice.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
I'm just... This is just proving that thing that I say time and time again. Like, you don't need to make your game look radically better. Sticking it on PS4 just makes a lot of the things look better. Higher res, a cleaner look, blah, blah, blah. But then they took that a step further. Sackboy, his materialistic look, which there's a word for that I forgot. It's a really neat word. When you design a thing that is not that thing to look like a material. But I digress. You can see the stitching. It is modeled in 3D for the Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, it looks like you could touch your TV screen and feel the felt.
Yeah.
The fabric.
And there's actually this really neat, I'm not sure if it's a shader or really fine modeling. I have to hope it's a shader. You can actually see very loose threads, like tiny fuzz coming off of the fabric.
I did not see that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy. Like crazy good shit. Like I was just really impressed by this and thought, hey, well, I mean, sure, it may be running. Did they say they were going to get that running at 60?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I should do some Googling. But it does look substantially better than the PS3 version.
Yeah, it does. The PS3 version, it doesn't look bad, but it just looks blurrier.
It does look pretty fucking blurry, like texture-wise and like overall image, which I guess comes from the resolution boost and stuff like that. But yeah, texture-wise, it does look blurrier too. What I'm looking forward to doing once Little Big Planet 3 comes out on the PS4, and Eric's getting it. Doing a comparison video of Little Big Planet 2 to Little Big Planet 3 on the PS4, because I feel like that's the normal upgrade path. Like a lot of people who got Little Big Planet 2 or that sort of thing. Little Big Planet, kind of an early adopter franchise, kind of, because it was in that first year and a half of the PS3.
Yeah.
It's that first thing that people got hyped for at E3.
Kind of, yeah. Actually, that was a game developer conference when they first showed it off, and it was like, oh my god, what? You make games in this game? What? And
I just remember the E3 thing being like, oh my god, the whole crowd
you mean
is cheering.
from Little Big Planet 3?
No, one.
I don't remember their E3 showing.
Was
it the skateboard slideshow
yeah, it was a
thing?
skateboard thing. It was
Where
Phil Harrison was on stage.
presentation?
Right. They did a presentation, but they also played a level, and then at the end of it, they all jumped on a skateboard and they rode down a hill.
Yeah, that is true. I think that was pretty similar to the GDC thing. But yeah.
I remember that demo.
Billions of years ago. In the Mesozoic era.
Billions and billions of E3s ago.
Aliens. But in any case, moving on to the next piece of news. Apparently, the former EA CEO, John Riccitello. I never heard him pronounce his own name.
It looks very Italian.
Really? No way. Is apparently the CEO of Unity Technologies, which of course are the makers of Unity Engine. So apparently, if you were one of those type of people who thought EA was evil because of him, you should be paranoid of Unity now. But, you know, they did some alright stuff under Riccitello. They did the whole, like, inventing new IPs at the beginning of this last gen.
Yeah.
What with Army of Two, Mirror's Edge, that sort of thing, Dead Space,
right.
Dante's Inferno.
Assassin's Creed.
No, that's
Ubisoft. Shit. Oh no.
Speaking of which, what's our stance on Ubisoft or Ubisoft? Are we gonna respect them enough to make the effort to remember it's Ubisoft?
Well, because ubiquitous.
I get that, but that's not. No one, like, we're talking about. I've been saying their name for over 10 years now.
Okay.
I probably won't remember.
Right? He's not gonna remember, so that's
All right.
I'm gonna check you in the future and see if you remember, and then we will know what our stance is.
All right.
Aggro comes in, it's Ubisoft, and if anyone says otherwise, I'm gonna knock you right upside the face. That's how he sounds. Fun fact.
Don't listen to our actual recordings of him.
No, that's me doing a terrible impersonation. That just now was him. I poked him and he said that. But in any case, so yeah, EA, you know, John Riccitello, Unity. Yeah, a lot of people convinced EA was just holy fucking evil all of this last gen. So I have to believe, if you believe that, you should probably be paranoid of Unity now. I'm not sure that, like, I don't know how much people care or like pay attention to these sort of things. Like, I think EA's evil image sort of is older than this last gen, and it sort of comes from, like, when they were kind of at the cutting edge of Uplay sort of stuff, of like, no, you need your EA login for this game in order to play it online. And I'm like, it's fucking Time Splitters. Fuck you.
Yeah, EA. I'm trying to think of anything good out of them during that PS2 generation.
Time Splitters 3.
Yeah.
They funded that, and then they gave up.
But with this, I mean, he's going from a game development company to an engine development. So.
Yeah, but if the idea is that the practices of the company, because, you know, people generally look at the weird microtransactions in Dead Space 3 and those sorts of decisions to milk money out of you, they would probably be worried about the licensing fees and other things.
Yeah, those are problems going to directly affect developers and sort of trickle-down effect to people who play the game.
Yeah. In a way, yeah. And it's going to be interesting to see Epic with Unreal Engine 4 and Unity really duke it out now, just because they're competing on multiple fronts. Like I don't talk about it on the podcast always, but they're always doing really neat shit to outclass each other. Like fucking Epic shows up at a college and they're like, hey, everyone gets a free Unreal Engine 4 license, and then they double canon Unity Technologies headquarter. And
I'm still kind of crazed because I remember Unity coming out. I was like, oh, it's just a 3D engine thing that some Flash games are using now, and now a lot of games like
everything
are using it. And
right,
now even like console games are starting to use Unity.
Even weirder, in its origin, the origin story of Unity is it was a Mac game engine, and now it controls the market to a significant extent. It's because they had a smart model. You know, they have a marketplace for people to buy assets and plugins. That's brilliant. Epic's kind of trying to get that done, but they're doing it on like Unreal Tournament, whatever the new one's going to be called. And they're like, you can buy things from other players. And it's like, well, that's cool, but why doesn't your engine do that? Like, Unity does that. But I digress. That's enough about engine talk. Let's talk about weird shit. So the Link amiibo that's coming out when Smash does is going to work with Hyrule Warriors somehow. Nintendo's not saying how.
That's their story with amiibos always.
So yeah, let's talk about that.
I'm buying the Link one at launch anyway.
So the topic today is amiibos. What in the hell?
What the fuck? With me, Dr. Aggro. Dr. Aggro? Yeah, what the fuck, Dan? What the fuck, Dr. Aggro? Thank you. And then it fades to black.
Thus concludes our segment.
program.
Our program.
It's like the end of a news show when they just have that music that feels
I think that is 60 minutes.
Yeah, I thought you were shittily doing the National Geographic theme for a second.
wow, that's a very monotone.
That's why I said shittily. Slightly better.
Mostly because you have any form of musical understanding. So the other games that are going to support Amiibo: Captain Toad, Treasure Tracker,
What the
Mario
heck is-
Kart 8, Mario Party 10, and Yoshi's Woolly World. They're lying.
Right? I'm like, what are they doing in those games?
The amazing thing is I don't think there's going to be that much storage space, so I think you're going to use it for Smash for your ghost data. Take it over to Whirly World, and it's like, hey, you can store your save on it. It's like, okay, and then it deletes your ghost data.
Or even better, takes the ghost data and puts it in other games that don't have fighters. So you take, hey, Captain Toad, this is Samus. Blab, blab.
Like, it tries to load up your ghost data as a save file, and Yoshi's Woolly World is like, I don't even fucking know. You're in the fire world? Where the world is just constantly on fire. It's kind of scary. Yeah, Amiibos.
Yeah.
They really seem like they're not executing on this smart.
They have a lot of potential
do.
for some of the games that they could put them in, but
I mean,
I
they
don't know
are the
what they're
only
gonna do.
people other than Disney who can capitalize on this much.
Yeah.
Like, they are better entitled than Disney to properly execute this, but they seem to have no idea how to do that.
Right.
It feels almost like a weird inverse of the Wii situation, where they did a thing and then everyone else was like, we need to do that thing that makes them so much money. And then everyone's doing out these action figure action games, and they're like,
What's the
everyone's
term
doing
for
so
that?
much
Do you
money.
remember?
Blue Ocean?
There's a no. The term for the genre of the game you're referring to, not the Blue Ocean thing.
Okay.
There's a specific term for the genre that I find like, it's so fascinating that people came up with a name for
Yeah,
a genre
I
that's
can't
two
remember.
games or two franchises, to be fair.
Right.
Well, they did that for MOBAs.
Yeah. And then there were a billion MOBAs. I sincerely hope to God that this won't go through the same thing.
Right.
Because much like the rhythm game genre, these three are coming out fast enough to kill it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
We
think
don't need any more.
I am pretty sure this latest
this is the
Skylanders is going to kill it. I don't know.
Maybe, but then again, how many times did you say that about what was it, Call of Duty? Like, this year's Call of Duty is gonna be the one where they just wake up and go, "This has been bad since Modern Warfare 2."
Right. But
But they don't.
they don't. But that's asking them to pay $60 and then maybe that extra 50 to
Where-
get the backpack. Which
So it's 110 versus
110
probably
versus-
140 at least.
so many hundreds. Because 75 just as it started. Mm-hmm. $10 per figure.
Yeah. So I figure the parents at least let them buy 3-4 more figures on average.
Someone
sure,
at
there are the
Activision
whales.
hugged themselves to sleep when they thought of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Just,
And then then that's the cheap
money.
figures. There's also the $15 figures,
Oh my God.
and then the figure packs.
Oh Jesus.
And at least with Nintendo's amiibos, they look really well constructed. Some of the Skylanders over time have looked kind of bad.
Yeah, they're some of those $15 ones this time. Honestly, they're like the coolest ones I've seen.
Yeah.
They look really nice.
Yeah.
They're trying hard on those.
So that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good that people feel like they have to earn it, but Jesus Christ, at any moment, this bubble's going to be burst.
Right.
At least
And then once
Nintendo
next
has
year-
an adamant enough fan base to make it work.
Yeah, next year there's probably going to be that Star Wars Disney Infinity thing.
Probably
Oh,
nothing.
God.
That's gonna happen.
Almost certainly.
I didn't even think about that.
Everyone's just been saying it ever since Disney bought Star Wars because they launched this year with the Marvel one, right?
Right.
Yeah, so they bought Marvel the year before or whatever. Whenever
But
that
I feel
happened.
like Disney has such this advantage that they can rebrand this thing like crazy and people will eat it up.
How do
like-
you mean rebrand? Like they just move it from huge IP to huge IP and
Right,
it works and
right,
it stays
like,
mobile,
they keep
whereas Skylanders eventually people are like, oh, Skylanders, who gives a fuck?
Right.
Whereas, like, next year, Joseph Nealon is going to ejaculate himself to death because Star Wars is coming out with this shit, and his wife's going to leave him. I hope you're listening,
he's
Joe.
dead.
He is dead. I think she is
that's
now
okay.
a widow.
She's allowed to leave a corpse.
She's going to have that look on her face like when you drop an egg, and it was like the third one. So you are beyond being angry. You just look at it, and you're like, son of a bitch. And you walk off like, fuck. You're not even super angry. You're just like, again.
Just
That's what she's gonna be. She's gonna be like fucking Star Wars, and just walk off, and he's dead on the floor.
I just had the weird alternate universe thought of somewhere deep in the bowels of Disney, someone was doing all this, acquiring all these IPs, acquiring all this new content. Yeah, sure, money, but the end goal is the greatest Kingdom Hearts game ever made.
Yeah, I mean, Kingdom Hearts 3 has so much rich IP to work with now that, to be honest, no matter what Square Enix does, I'm gonna be fucking angry.
Yeah.
This is not good enough.
After the Disney acquisition, or after the Star Wars acquisition happened,
Yeah.
even they came out and said, we're in discussions to figure out what we can work with, what they will let us use.
Yeah.
So,
They're fucking stupid if they don't let them use everything.
right? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, no, you guys have Star Wars now. You can do that.
I feel like maybe Disney isn't aware of how much their older IPs were really brought, like appreciation was had by all these younger people for Disney stuff via Kingdom Hearts. Because a lot of gamers, they sort of interfaced with some of those older things like Fantasia for the
Right.
first time through Kingdom Hearts. I know that for a fact. I actually have a really young cousin. He's just now 13 or so, I believe. And yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2 was really like his first introduction to really old Disney. Because we're in the age
Yeah.
of DVDs. How many people have bought old Disney shit
From the vault?
on DVD?
Yeah, when they keep putting it in the vault. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not even something that you.
Generally do, yeah.
Yeah, like
now-
Snow White. I don't think kids
God.
have seen Snow White.
Yeah, no.
just
And,
had-
you know, the world's not worse for it, I'm going to go ahead and say.
Okay,
Snow
yeah.
White's not the best.
I just had the weird cross section of fanboys of the weird fight between Darth Vader and Sephiroth. I don't know what's gonna happen, guys, but someone's gonna die.
I'm trying to imagine, like, that is an interesting. I'm just looking, like, mentally, the most interesting part of that is the one guy who's like, Darth Vader's a badass. Who's this fucking queer with his white hair? Like, that guy.
And
that guy.
someone
is
else is going, Sephiroth's amazing. Who's this fucking robot asshole?
See, I don't see that as
You
much
don't?
as, like, because, like, okay.
There's no one who doesn't know who Darth Vader
Okay.
is.
Right. Well, but I just want to see the guy who's going to say that, because it's not like I can't guess some things about him. You know, he likes Star Wars. That already like narrows that down a good bit, and he still thinks Darth Vader is cool. So that narrows that down even further. But I just want to look at him.
I just wanna
want
see
to
him.
look at that guy as he fucking lets that crawl out of his fucking mouth. who's this queer white hair asshole? Darth Vader can kick his ass. Just to watch him say that without scratching his balls or ass. And see him say this as he squirms under his way too small Star Wars shirt. It's just, yeah, no.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm excited to see.
I've been in an anime club. I've already seen the other crowd.
Okay. There's a
not anytime recently. Not anytime almost in the last decade.
Isn't GigaBoots
actually no? Yeah, no, and I will beat you to death with a chair. Get out of my mom's house. No. Show comics amazing, but no, I haven't been in an anime club in the last decade.
Okay,
that's good feeling.
Feels good.
Separate yourself by 10 years. That's a good fucking feeling. So we're gonna move on to a very anime club topic. Guilty Gear Xrd sign.
Man, that feels great. Xrd.
Oh man, yeah. There hasn't been a good Guilty Gear in 10 years.
Well, there hasn't been a new Guilty Gear in 10 years.
Well, they re-released Accent Core or whatever the fuck on Vita and PS3.
You just had to put that climax.
You just had to put
Shinobi versus
the words re-released before that. That is not a new Guilty Gear.
Well, it was like an arcade version that came out shortly before it, so technically that is a new Guilty Gear. It's another edition, but in the same logic that Street Fighter 4 came out with a game this year.
I'm trying to think, the Guilty Gear Accent Core Plus,
yeah,
was released on the PS2
in 2008 or something,
right,
really
so
late.
It was super late.
It did come out sometime in the last 10 years.
It was in the last 10 years. Okay,
but that's sort of the thing, though. It hasn't been good since XX.
Okay.
I think every edition, I don't care who the fuck you are. If you want to take me up on this, I'll fucking beat your ass. There hasn't been a good Guilty Gear since XX. Because you know what came out after XX? Izuka.
Ugh.
Or, sorry, let me fucking say this so that way your fucking anime-obsessed Japanese murdering ass can understand which one I'm talking. Isuka. As an Isuka dick. Guilty Gear is not a good franchise. There are 2 good games. X and XX. Everything else is just fucking it again. It's like if...
No, Dan, there's also the worst game, Guilty Gear 2. Overture.
That's the one I'm most interested in because they invented a shitty fucking character.
Right, but I would totally play that game if it were playable.
I haven't played it.
It's an action, third-person action game.
Guilty Gear 2 is a 3D third-person action game for the Xbox 360 exclusively.
When you knock down, or you fight hordes of enemies and something about taking bases.
It's kind of Dynasty Warriors?
No, it's not Dynasty Warriors. You have to hold position and fully take the... It's weird.
Okay.
There's lots of weird mechanics that don't need to be there, and then the core action's really bad because you have hordes of enemies, but if you knock them over, you can't hit them while they're on the ground. You have to wait for them to do the incredibly long stand back up animation, then they can be hit again.
That sounds great.
You have one combo string.
That sounds better than Izuka.
Probably is better than Izuka.
Most things are.
Right.
But yeah, no. So Xrd 9 is coming out in the States on December 16th. I'm excited for that. Because at very least it has a fresh coat of paint and it looks very snappy.
Yeah, that 2D 3D effect is incredible in action. Yeah. I keep looking at it like it's one of those is it an old lady? Is it a young lady? Is it a vase? Is it two faces? It keeps switching back and forth in my mind of it's 2D. Now it's 3D. It's 2D again. Help!
Right?
Help me!
They do an incredible job.
Yeah.
Just because of the low frame rate makes it look like 2D animation, just like Guilty Gear was, because Blaze Blue is a better game. It runs at 60 frames per second, but it has that clicking, these are drawn frames sort of thing. It's really incredible. You guys should check out our quick play or a 60 frame per second video if you haven't seen it yet. I imagine most of you have, but a lot of people. That 60 frame per second video is gorgeous. I
would say that video took off. Lots of people like 60 frame per second video.
Yeah, it's about 2,000 views.
This
is all right.
You guys really like that? Someone likes it a lot.
Apparently, someone likes it a lot. So I noticed you were doing a thing with the Vita.
I was just setting
curious.
up a recording, so
okay, gotcha.
Something on the way home.
Gotcha. So last bit of news here. Amazon accidentally leaked some features for the new Smash Brothers.
These are probably all going to be mentioned in that
Nintendo
thing tomorrow.
Direct tomorrow. So we'll kind of mention what sort of leaked. There's a board game mode. Apparently, there's some sort of thing where you take on challenges issued by Master Hen and Crazy Hen, and there's a level creator, unfortunately. And other news, I will continue to hate Bob's levels because they're fucking misery boxes.
Yeah, I was on NeoGAF the other day, and they were talking about the level creator, and I was like, oh, great. All right. I guess I'll have to do this again.
I guess I'll fill our fucking random level select with garbage. Not like they didn't already do that, because it comes with 3 fucking levels that are already shit.
Okay, that's cool. Move back a bit. There's Super Smash Party?
Yes. Apparently. They didn't talk about it. They just said it's a thing. It leaked in the product description on
I'm
Amazon.
incredibly interested in that.
Yeah, because it sounds like a Smash or a Mario Party that isn't shit.
Which those have been,
it's
so
Super
for so
Smash
many
Brothers.
years.
The only game is bumper balls. Wait, isn't that basically what Smash Pin is, or whatever that Street Pass thing is?
Yeah.
Street Smash.
That is
Street
basically
Smash.
this. Street Smash is basically that fucking game.
Ooh.
Does anyone own a good Mario Party? Like, I feel like I owned one.
I don't know. I don't think I ever owned it.
Shit, actually. I started... my brother, for some reason, started collecting them. So we have, like, 2... and then 4 through 8 or something.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They cranked out a lot on the GameCube.
They did.
They did.
And then they cranked out some more on the freaking
On the
Wii.
Wii. Not
There are
that
at least
many,
2.
though. At least 2. Yeah.
There might be 3.
There's one on the 3DS. That still
There
weirds
is.
me out.
There's
The
one
best
on the
one-
regular DS.
Yeah. See, that I don't know. That made sense to me. But then there was one on the 3DS within, like, the first year and a half or 2. And that was just really weird for me to deal with. Like, wow, it's just
Something no one talks about. One of them, I think it's 5, maybe it's 6, had the best, like, weird alternate game mode that involved, like, mech tanks that you build and fight each other with.
What?
Yeah. No, yeah. It was great. Like, and you unlocked different parts that did different things. I was like, what? Why is Armored Core in Mario Party? I don't get it.
That's pretty incredible.
I need to figure out which one it is and bring
And
it
then
over.
we'll do it for Retro Boots.
Holy
Fuck
shit,
yeah, that is the
damn.
point of Retro Boots right there. But yeah, that's all the news. Thanks for listening to the GigaBoots podcast. Make sure to check out that Patreon, and we'll see you next week.
No funny outro?
Would you? Okay. Jokes. I got this. Why did the Sonic cross the road?
Why, Dan?
To get away from his 40 shitty titles.